Welcome back, everybody. Another fun, beautiful weekend. Let's go clock in. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Welcome back. Another Stig shift. Forgive the delay in between the posts. It's been a pretty busy week, but let's go. Alrighty, let's go. First office, not this one. We're heading over to International. I tell you what, it is never boring when you're on a flight line. Never at all. The only time you find yourself bored is when you make it boring. There's always something to do. There's always something to see. Heading over to International for our first flight. It's a beautiful 777. Watching something so massive, so elegant, rolling in like this is just, words cannot encapsulate the feelings. It's genuinely a work of art. You're seeing poetry in motion. Every aspect of this is beautiful. Everything from the elegant airframe to the massive power plants. Just thinking about the GE90 115B itself is just incredible. The thing can produce over 115,000 pounds of thrust. That's just mind-blowing. There you go, some GE90 love for you. Everybody always thinks the engine is hot. It's not. All this portion is nice and cool. Now, it's part of the high bypass. This part is not really hot. Neither is this part. This is all cool to the touch. The hot part starts happening right here. That's where you don't want to touch. So there you go. Hot section, cold section, or the high bypass. But otherwise, it's cool to the touch. Some places even ice cold. All right. Well, just found out that this stays here. It's terminating. Actually, it's not. Nope. It's going to fly out later on tonight to Sydney. But as of now, we just needed to oil it. Make sure everything is okay, which it is. Cool. Engine oils. Good. All right. Oh, this is funny. I get this question all the time, and people always ask me, Stig, why do you slap the throttles or the throttle quadrant? Okay, there's a story behind this. You see, I got brought up into the aviation world when it was on the cusp of the change. I got a lot of the old generation and plus the new generation. What that means is I worked on a lot of old metal. Metal like MD-80s, 727s, the classic 737s, the 747s, and L-1011s. These things were different systems. They were very antiquated and very analog. So when you see me slapping the throttles like that, it's because back in the old days, the old aircraft were all analog, cable and linkage driven. No FADEX, no EECs, no electronic control units. So when I slap that throttle, I want to make sure it's at idle. Because when you start that engine up, you don't want it revving up. Yeah, I worked on that thing too, and that's the very first 767 right there. But anyway, overall, I just want to give you guys a little insight. This ain't a monologue for a Stig's memory lane. We'll save that for another video. And the fidget spinner. And we're back to an Airbus, our next office. This one just came in. Do a quick little walk around. Make sure everything's A-okay. That was a fun one for you. You know when they attach the tow bar right here? And the tug is pushing it out. I'm sure most of you guys already know this. This is the bypass. So they'll pull this back and they'll insert a pin right here. Just like this. So this will disable these actuators from moving around. There you go. And then they can push it back safely, because when they are pushing it back, aircraft hydraulics are pressurized. It's all for safety, because they also need hydraulics for brakes. Oh yeah, there you go. Every airplane has one just like that. They're just kind of located in different positions, and kind of shaped a different way, but it's all the same. Boop the floof. You know me, I always have fun. Boop the floof, that's right. What that actually is a rubber tip on the tip of the spinner of the V2500 engine. This is very indicative of Rolls-Royce style engines. If you guys didn't know, the V2500 engine is one of the companies that actually partook in building the V2500 engine. So you ask yourself, why is it rubber? Well, it's for ice buildup prevention. It's a very pointed nose, as you can see. At high altitudes, where it gets super cold, we're talking about negative 50 degrees here, ice has a tendency to build up. Now, the reason that it's rubber, it's because as soon as too much ice gets built up onto that tip, the rubber portion of it will start to a bit vibrate. When it vibrates, because it goes off of balance, it will break up all that ice formation, hence why it is rubber. But there's a reason I also do this, because I want to see the integrity of it. I want to make sure it's not damaged. But, you know, boop the floof as it is. Have fun with it. Okie dokie, let's see now. Status. Normal, that's exactly what I want to see. Engine oils are good. Hydraulics are good. Oxygen is good, but we did come in with a little bit of a write-up. Pilot reports that the tray table is loose. Yeah, it is a little loose. I know exactly what the problem is. This is where being tiny helps. Oh my goodness. Alrighty, so at the bottom of the tray table, right here. You see that right there? This little Allen key? There's another one over there. Those get loose. Time to time they get loose. Here, look. You'll see it. Right there. So we'll tighten that up and we'll get that straightened out. It's easy. So one of the smaller write-ups we always get in line maintenance, but these are the kind of common issues that we have to address. It's not always a major issue all the time. Most of the time, airplanes come in with mostly interior defects. Something within the flight deck, most of the time within the cabin. This is why I say aircraft are so reliable. They're so well built. Hardly any major issues ever occur. And when they do occur, you have backup systems to take over. But once it lands, we address it, obviously. But something so small like this, so trivial, it's a tray table. It's the captain's tray table. Not a big deal. These things get used like no other. They get pulled out, put back in, just used and abused. But it's a very simple fix. And if anybody's going to ask, yes, this is documented. This was a write-up in the logbook. Obviously, we're going to address this. We're going to use the proper aircraft maintenance manual or procedures. And there is a standard practice manual procedure just for this. If anybody's going to start quoting me, or the professionals or the keyboard warriors from our maintenance world, yes, ATE chapter 25. All in all, super easy, not a big deal. But it's always a fun little challenge. Your work, most of the time, we as maintenance become a bit of contortionists. And we have to bend ourselves into pretzels sometimes to get into awkward positions. Working backwards, upside down, and any kind of position you can imagine. It's quite hilarious. But we get it done. It's not a big deal. And there you go. Nice and straight and solid. That's all I wanted. A couple of screw loose, just like me. And the post light came out clean. Nice. Easy. On to the next one. See? There you go. It doesn't have to be complicated, guys. Your sign-offs don't have to be intimidating and super hard. Very simple. Adjust it per your reference. And there's your reference. Easy. You know, before we go, you guys always, somebody always manages to ask, what is this screen right below the ISIS? And ISIS stands for Integrated Standby Instrument Systems. Don't you dare go inside the comments and start saying, oh my God, he just said ISIS. Dude, I did not name the system. Go talk to Airbus. This is what they named this. That's the acronym. I am just relaying the information. Yeah, don't worry. I was just as surprised myself when I heard it. I'm like, wait, what? Did I hear that right? But anyway, the technical information is, as I said, Integrated Standby Instrument System. It's the backup system. So as I said again, it's a backup system in case of a failure of the standard glass flight deck instrumentation. All those pretty panels that you see. This is tied in directly to the hot battery bus. No matter what happens to the aircraft, as long as the battery is still supplying power, you will still get that information from the ISIS. And the information is usually the most important information, which is altimeter, airspeed indicator, altitude indicator, the essentials that the pilot needs to keep the aircraft flying straight. Is fair enough? Okay, next. So right below it is another little screen, and most people are very confused on why they see this. Obviously below this, you'll probably see your CPDLC that some airplanes have and some don't. But this is your ADS-B. All right, look that up. Look up what that means. I know. Nah, I can't leave you guys hanging like that. I'll explain it. ADS-B, Automatic Dependent Surveillance Broadcast System. It's basically a surveillance technology that combines aircraft avionics and positioning sources. It talks to ATC, but not only that, it also talks to other aircraft. In the most simplistic terms I can put this, it's another version of TCAS, Traffic Collision Avoidance System. It prevents airplanes from running into each other in the sky. It sends out a very unique signal from the respective aircraft to other aircraft, and as well as it sends out signals to ATC. There's lots of debate on ADS-B systems and how it functions, but as of now, certain aircraft are having this system included in there, and some do not. Regardless of that, TCAS, Traffic Collision Avoidance System, is still in place. That's still working perfectly. ADS-B is just another format of it, with more information being fed into it. It still all ties into VHF-3 as well as satellite communication. But that's just a simple explanation of it. Please feel free to do some research on this. You'll understand a lot more. Lots of information online. Just to simply type in ADS-B for aircraft, and trust me, a ton of information. You'll enjoy it. It says in fail because it's not in alignment yet. Once we go into alignment, that will start working. But yeah, ADS-B. Go ahead and feel free to look that up. Easy to find. After I got done with my flight and dispatched it safely, I had a little bit of downtime, so I went out to the field and just hung out and just watched beautiful aircraft move around. A lovely 737 MAX from Aeromexico, a beautiful Qantas A330. But today was actually a very special day. A very special aircraft was coming into land, and I was fortunate enough to actually see it. You rarely get to see this one. And no, it's not the 737 doing a high-speed taxi doing almost 45 knots. You guys are crazy how fast you drive. This is what I'm talking about. Yep, that's exactly what you think it is. That is Air Force One. The President of the United States was in Los Angeles, California on that day. They actually stayed the whole weekend, left on Sunday. Don't worry, we'll catch up with all that later. I got a lot more footage of that. But I had to go back to work because next flight is in. Let's go. I thought I saw something, a piece of paper. I was right. Do you remember when I spoke about FOD, foreign object debris? Well, that also occurs on the ramp. So we try to prevent this as much as possible. It's sometimes inevitable for engine to ingest something. Remember, you're working on a very open, free space environment. Lots of things getting pushed around, lots of debris getting pushed around. So sometimes we are just not able to get to certain debris. This little piece of paper or a piece of tape or whatever it was, it got blown into the ingestion zone. It got sucked up. But thankfully it didn't go into the core. It just went into the bypass, which majority of the time, 99% of the time, things like this go into the bypass and just will flow right through and just go get blown out. But this is the reason why we do the walk around. This is why we pay attention to things. This is why I stand in front of the airplane while it taxis up. I want to make sure everything's okay. So I noticed something get picked up and I walked to the back of it and I saw it and I was like, oh, wait a minute. There it is. So reached back, grabbed it. So no harm, just preventing any kind of other problems, basically. There it is. Just through the high bypass. I don't see anything else in there. It happens. Alrighty, this one's all done. The guys, this one actually stays overnight. The guys on night shift already are doing their walk around, getting things done. I'm gonna go help my buddy over there on that 737. That's also a Terminator, and that's it. Hope you guys all had fun. I will see you bright and early in the morning. Later. Good morning, everybody. Look at that. That is beautiful. Coffee's ready? Come on. Time, let's go wake up our beautiful airplanes. I love the fresh smell of jet fuel in the morning. It smells like victory. Yes, indeed. Get our airplane started up, get it all ready. I run through the preliminaries even before the pilots get there. Maintenance has been done. They do their own walk-arounds as well, but trust me, maintenance does their walk-around. We are already there before you are there. Next office. This one's being brought up from the hangar. These super tugs are always cool. Most people ask why we are using this kind of equipment instead of a traditional tug and tow bar. Well, in prolonged use, when you're moving aircraft consistently back and forth from line to hangar or hangar to line, these machines are very useful, not only from a safety standpoint, but as well as from a wear and tear standpoint. We no longer have to consistently run engines just to taxi up and back and forth. We don't have to wear and tear the tires. Less points of failure. I keep going back to the factor of safety. Now, don't get me wrong, the super tugs are very complicated machines. They do break down time to time, but overall, they work very, very efficiently. What it does is basically picks up the nose wheel of the aircraft, and that's how it's able to tow it across the field. That was a Goldhofer manufacturer tug you saw. Uh-oh, we got a little Avionics vent fault. It happens sometimes. Let's check it out. Even though the aircraft just got brought up from the hangar, there's sometimes still issues that occur. This is very indicative to any aircraft that is very electronically based. A slight shift of power, a power transfer, could cause a small fault. The fault that you're seeing here is got to do with the avionics cooling system. There was a slight malfunction of the power transfer when it went from APU power, auxiliary power unit power, to ground power. This happens time to time. Once again, this is why we are here as maintenance, to ensure everything's okay before flight. All I had to do is perform a simple reset on the system and it went back to working as proper. Well, this airplane is ready to go. It's going out to OGG. But you know what? Let's show you something cool. So this is the oxygen mask container. And look at this. This is kind of interesting. I read here. Look at this. The maximum altitude, cabin altitude, is rated for is 41,500 feet. The funny part is, from as far as I know, the Airbus 321neo, I think its maximum ceiling is only 39,800 feet. I think that's it, or at least normal altitude. Correct me if I'm wrong, pilots. But it's pretty cool. It's got some interesting options and a test feature. Yep. So it's pretty cool because the features are, you know, this is the supply select. So you can go from normal to 100% supply, and you can also have emergency, which provides 100% oxygen, like under positive pressure. Or you can switch to a purge system where it kind of mixes ambient air. They call it a vent through purge, if I remember correct. But yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm not going to pull it out because it's a headache to put it all back in. But that's what that looks like. And that's how pilots and maintenance test it. Cool. Breathe in the air. Whoa, 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 look what's rolling in. My girl. Good old US Airways bird. Yeah, this brings back real fond memories. So this airplane is actually very, very special. I'm going to show you why. So, this has a very, well, the old fuel compartment or the old fuel panel, which is right here. Now behind this panel is a very special message. That's right. This is the last 321 delivered to US Airways. I wonder if anybody can recognize those names. Those are important names. But yeah, very special bird. Worked on this one many, many times. Alrighty guys, a little bit of downtime, so as always, I got some time to come down here to cargo, and as always, cargo never disappoints, ever. Let's see what kind of new toys we got. As I said, cargo never ever disappoints. What you're looking at right there is a very rare car, a Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren. I told you, I'm Stig's long-lost aviation cousin. Just because I fix airplanes does not mean I don't enjoy cars. And these are some of the cars you will be able to see here. I still remember Jeremy driving this thing around on a track on Top Gear. Man, oh man, he had fun. But that's not all. We got a lot more cars to go through, so stick around. If you like the aviation portion of it and you also like the automotive portion, yeah, I got you. I'll let you guys have fun in the comment section with the cars. But that's not all. We got more. A couple of hidden away Porsches over here. I don't know what kind they are, but we got something right here. I think this is probably the same kind. That's pretty cool. And another one up top. Look at these things. Look at that. That's a nice interior. And what's next to it is even more cool. Oh yeah. That is a beauty. Did you know that Yamaha actually produced the exhaust portion of this vehicle? They made it the most acoustic, perfectly sounding car exhaust in the world. Every car enthusiast loves this. There you go. That's a cool picture right there. Carbon ceramic disc brakes. This thing is probably made out of almost all carbon fiber. Forgive me for being so googly-eyed and just so excited, because these are beautiful works of engineering. Not to mention you have a beautiful aircraft in the background. But the show's not over yet. There you go. Another beauty. But there's more to come. I mean, we all love dune buggies, and this thing was spectacular. I'm not sure why they deflated the tires, but hey, whatever. Look at that. But this ain't the real special ones. The real special ones are over there. Now these I have never seen in my life before. How epic is this? This is a true super car right here. This is gorgeous. That suspension. So cool how it's exposed. Enough carbon fiber to last you a lifetime. I'm just a loss for words. This is just incredible. It's not every day that we get to see these kind of beautiful machines. This is why I was at loss for words. I couldn't say anything. I couldn't do anything because all I could do is just admire. Later on, I found out that these are very, very rare cars. Incredibly rare. I think each of one of these costs about $2.7 million, if not more. But looking at the engineering and the aesthetics and all this beauty, it's fascinating to me. What I found out later on is one of them was meant to be a touring car, which is just street and just going around, driving around. And the other one was supposed to be more of a racetrack car. Hence you saw the exuberant wing and the profiles on it. And right next to it, something even more special, the Classic. Now I have no idea what this is. I've never seen one of these. But it's in pristine condition. Alpine. There you go. I can guarantee there's at least a couple of $1 million sitting right here. And there's that Ferrari from last week right there. Still sitting here. Absolutely incredible. See? Cargo never disappoints. Good. Fun. Let's keep on talking. Let's see what else we can find out here. So that right there is the 105 freeway. If you're ever driving by going to LAX, you might notice this building right here. This building is actually really, really special. It's a historic building. Believe it or not, this is actually the very first terminal. This is the original terminal at LAX. It's got a really cool history behind it. They keep it really nice and pristine. Obviously, they use it as a storage space and for cargo, for DHL over here, obviously. But it's actually in really nice condition. Yeah, this is the very first original terminal at LAX. Pretty amazing, right? I'm glad they kept it. I really hope they keep it for a long, long time. Like, I think they should restore it and make it an actual real terminal. But I doubt that's going to happen here on the cargo side. Look at that. You can see the architecture is still there. That's beautiful. And last but not least, there you go. And this is as close as I'm going to get to that thing. Because that thing is guarded harder than Fort Knox, I would guess. But yeah, there you go. There's Air Force One. Sorry, this is the best. This is the best I can do. That's still beautiful. Well, as I said, Air Force One did come in, and we were all amazed at it because we just all love airplanes, and we all try to get a good look at it. It's just so beautiful. But I get better shots later on. You'll see it, especially when it's leaving. I'll show you guys that at the end of the video. So if you want to see it taking off, stick around. Well, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. That's it. Back to work for me. E-tops time. My partner's inspecting, and we're gonna go upstairs here in a bit. What a beautiful day. They're still cleaning it. Oh yeah, we gotta walk through the cabin. Make sure everything's okay. As usual. This will really keep all the good food and the snacks. Oh man, just joking. All right, this one is good to go. Let's see now. Oh, look at that, somebody put the cameras up. So you guys know, right? There's cameras. There's one camera on the belly and one on each horizontal stabilizer facing forward. You know, one thing I never actually did tell you about, guys, is that the cameras actually have lights. Cameras action lights, or camera lights action. Right there. Obviously, you're not going to see anything right now because it's full daytime. But I'll show you. I'll go downstairs and show you where the lights are. It's pretty cool. It basically lights up those particular areas. Okay, let's see now. There's your first camera. A little bit of context. Cameras are there to assist pilots when they are taxiing the aircraft. It basically gives them a visual indication of where the nose gear is when it comes to the center line, but it also gives them a visual representation of the main gears. But that's not where it stops. It also can give a perspective of what's going on to the aft portion of the flaps and the gear as well while in flight. So if they need to access or look at what's going on, if there was any kind of defect, or let's say a confirmation of a gear down and locked, they can always access the camera portion of this and look at it. So it's a visual cue. It's always good. It's a feature that most wide-body aircraft do have. This is indicative to the 777-300 series right here that you're looking at. I was staring at the nose gear, just like you saw upstairs. Let's see now. And the lights I was talking about are right over here. There you go, those are your camera lights. on both sides. Basically illuminates all of this and the gear. Right there. And there's your cameras. One on this side and one on the other side. Day has turned into night, and one of the last airplanes that are coming in, a beautiful 321 Neo. Let's watch it roll in with its beautiful sounds. Have I ever talked about the concept of a dark flight deck and what it actually means? Let me show you. So when pilots are flying, guess what? Most of these are off. So for example, the pumps are off. These are just fuel pumps. Notice? But let's say if there was a fault, something occurred, automatically you'll have some kind of a fault notification right here. You'll see it. You'll see something like this. You'll see the fault light. Here's a good example. The pack system. Obviously the packs aren't running because the APU is not running and there's no bleed air, so the pack is going to fault. But here, off, when you turn it on, it's going to take a second, but it will fault. It will look exactly just like that because there is no air running through it. But that's your concept of a dark flight deck. So once again, you're flying, you shouldn't see any lights at all. That means that everything is working as it is intended. But as soon as something goes wrong or something doesn't work, so just, once again, engine not running, number one, engine generator is not running. So let's say there was a fault when the engine was running, you'd automatically get a fault. It would automatically get the pilot's attention like, oh, we have a problem. Oh, by the way, see, the fault came back. There you go. Now you get the concept. That's the concept of dark flight deck. But then again, I don't like dark. I like Christmas trees. Alright guys, that's it. This is the last flight of the night. Lovely plastic princess. I know, I always come down to the last flight and I'm too tired to talk about anything because I talked all day long. I'm sure everybody's tired of all the crazy stories. But thank y'all for watching. I'll see you guys early in the morning. Later! One more day. Let's go. I hope you are all sticking around. If you are sticking around this long, thank you so much for watching. But here we go. Another beautiful day, another beautiful morning, and another day of aviation. Oh my God, I love the glory of it. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Being on the flight line, feeling the air, smelling everything, touching everything. Oh my goodness. I'm a kid in a candy store. You catch it? That's a MD-11 right there, taking off. But what we got on our sights is a gorgeous, gorgeous 787 right here. This one just came in from Haneda, and it's a quick turn, and it's going right back out to Haneda, Japan, that is. So what that means is an ETOPS check. We need to perform all the maintenance necessary, making sure there's no discrepancies, getting everything in order for this aircraft to go out clean. But once again, me being me, I need to stop by and just watch and look and smell the roses. You can't help yourself. It's a beautiful feeling. We're back at it. Let's go. Woo! That's gonna be beautiful. All right, first one on the list, 787. He's going out to Haneda. Let's do the usual. Oh my God, the air conditioning exhaust system on these is brutal. That's blowing a lot of air. Brakes and tires looking nice and healthy. You know, a lot of you guys always get surprised when you see this. Most people think Bridgestone tires don't make aircraft tires. They do. So does Goodyear, so does Michelin. Give it a little love. Looks like we're back where we ended yesterday, isn't it? But everything's good. This one's actually going out to Haneda. So I did the outside. The rest of the guys already took care of the inside, so there's not much for me to do here. I just come here to double check a few of the parameters. The brakes and, the brake tire, the tire pressure and the brake wear, which I saw the brake wear outside, but you can also check the tire pressure from up here, obviously. Let's see now. Let me see. You know how on other airplanes I always showed you how the ropes, there's usually a rope over here to escape. So this one doesn't have a window to open. This one has a hatch. And the way when they open the hatch, since the aircraft is so tall, they actually have these. There you go. Emergency descent devices. Grab hold and jump out. And hold on. So no climbing necessary for this one. Overall, it's a good airplane. Oh, look at that. The electronic flight bag, or the EFB, is up and running. There's actually a surveillance system. It's a camera that shows the outside of the door and in the forward galley. This is obviously for security, so pilots know who's coming or going to the flight deck. Pretty cool, huh? And it's not recorded. I don't believe it's recorded, so. Let's see. Back to main menu. I think I've shown you this before. You can go through terminal charts as well of any airport in the world, or whatever is uploaded on the database. This is obviously Haneda because it just came from Haneda. Pretty cool. It's got all the airport data that you need. as I watch one of my beautiful 787s land and it's coming to the end of my day, I have to admire it. I have to watch it because it's beautiful. But on that note, there is also another aircraft that's going to be taking back off. And it's not one of my birds. It's the bird we saw earlier, which I promised. Oh, and a glorious shot of a beautiful 737 with gorgeous liveries. And of course, a nice 737, once again from Southwest. I love all aspects of aviation, but here's what I really want to show you. The final ending of the day. Enjoy. Well, folks, I hope you guys enjoyed all this fun weekend and you got to see a lot of fun stuff. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you guys all on the next adventure. Later!